Hello everyone and welcome back to Growing with TJ. It's hard to believe that it is July, but we're out here in the garden. We're going to do a nice little July garden tour. If you're like me, you are waiting for the tomatoes to start to ripen. I don't know if you can see over here, but some of the cherries are starting to turn, and I've already had a few that I got to enjoy, but the big slicers are probably still a couple weeks away from the ripening process. So something I'm going to do next year is look into a variety that ripens a lot quicker, because I don't want to be waiting until July, mid-July, end of July to get my tomatoes. But, I know that's how it is, and that's what most people are doing right now, waiting on the tomatoes to turn, and it seems like they take a long time. Let's get into the garden tour and enjoy a beautiful afternoon in the garden. All right, since we're back here, let's start over with the cherry and grape tomatoes. You can see some are starting to turn, and we have a ton on here. This is just like a wall of tomatoes, and it is beautiful. You see all them in there. Let's take you down here and show you the Brad's Atomic Grape Tomato. You got Mountain Magic, Sakura tomatoes, they're everywhere. Quick thing I want to mention is you can see that I'm missing some leaves, and that is from the tomato hornworm if you saw my last video. And I picked off about 4. I don't see any new damage, and I came out here last night with the black light and didn't see any, so I'm just going to keep on top of it, look for new damage, and then that will help me find any hornworms that are around. Grenadera plum tomato right there. Very impressed so far with the Grenadera plum tomato because it has really produced green tomatoes, and we'll see how they taste and how they ripen, but so far so good. Little pepper patch we got going on right here. This is a Shishita Mellow Star. I mean, look at all those peppers. I got to pick a lot of them, so I want to start getting more flowers and some new growth. Lunchbox pepper right there, and more Shishitas over there. Come over here. We got a Brandywine right here. The classic beef steak tomato. You can see they're on there. And down there is a mushroom basket, which comes from Russia. That's going to be a very interesting tomato. You can see how it looks, the size, the ribbed, pretty cool. Right here we got a patio eggplant, and I need to pick these. They're looking really good. Down here, look at all those that need to be picked. I want to pick them, encourage more flowers. It always seems like the eggplants take a while to get going. But once they do, they really produce. This is a Gaudi eggplant. You can see they're finally starting to produce with lots of flowers on there. So it looks pretty good. Some damage from the flea beetle, but when your eggplant gets to this size, there's not much to worry about. The flea beetle's not going to do enough damage to affect your plant too much. It's usually when they're smaller. Over here, in the more peppers, Marigold, Safari Scarlet. This is Red Ember. And these peppers aren't doing as well. This is the Buana Mulata pepper. I'm not sure what I think about this one yet. The plant does not look too healthy, and it is producing peppers. I took a bunch off to try and encourage better growth, but they should be getting a little bigger than this, and the peppers aren't really growing too big, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. But it could be something I'm doing, I'm not sure. This is a pink bumblebee cherry tomato. Let's see if I can get you in here. See that? Kind of has like some striping on it. Let's see if I have a better one over here. It's a better better look at it. So I'm excited to try that one. I never had that one before. Over here we have a white scallop squash. Let me get you in there and show you what we're working with. You can see them back there. Get the string out of the way. This plant is doing pretty well. I'm really keeping on top of the squash bugs. Been getting all the eggs and picking squash bugs off without spraying. And you can see this plant is looking very healthy. Now I'm going away on vacation for a week, so all this hard work keeping this plant healthy might, go to waste, because if they come and they lay eggs before I can get them, I'll pick them right before I leave, make sure there's no any eggs, and hopefully I come back and I don't have any issues. This eggplant, or sorry, not eggplant, zucchini, is going to come out. You can see the new leaves look decent, but all the bottom leaves died. But like I was saying, when your zucchini gets to this point, there's no point trying to see if you can, make it better and help it grow. You might as well just drop in another seed and move on. You'll see I got other zucchinis just starting to pop up now, so that's something you want to continue to do and try and beat the life cycles of these pests that you're going to face. Right there's a cucumber beetle. You probably can't see that. That is a borage right there. Coming over here, we got the diva cucumber. Looking very, very nice. Good green growth. Some damage on the lower leaves when they was smaller from the cucumber beetle. Now the cucumber beetle is still around. Last night I came over at night, and they're a lot slower at night. They don't react as fast. And I was able to take out, probably 40 of them. Which I didn't even know there was that many in here, but that goes to show you that they are. And another thing I want to say is that the diva cucumber was supposed to be resistant, somewhat resistant, or not as attractive to the cucumber beetle, but I'm not finding that to be very true. Getting in here, you can see cucumber growing right there. Another thing with that, like I'm going on vacation, so I don't want any of these cucumbers to get large and the plant thinks it did its job and it kind of shuts down. You want to pick early and often with cucumbers, so I honestly might pick off any small cucumbers I see, and that way when I come back, hopefully I do have a few, getting to size, but I don't have any that get too big and start turning yellow and then my plant shuts down on me. Just stuff you got to think about when you are going on vacation. It's never fun to do that, but hey, it's going to be a great time. I got to keep telling myself that, and I'll come back and we'll get back in the garden. This is a Socrates cucumber. You can see it's way farther behind than this one over here. So you want to do waves of cucumbers. If I get you in here, this is a Bailey's Virginia peanut. Not sure what I expect from this. First time growing peanuts. But I'm going to give it a shot. It looks pretty healthy. I think sometime in the fall is when I will harvest the peanuts, and obviously they're growing underneath the ground, kind of like a potato. I do love seeing a wall of tomatoes. Cattle panel is beautiful to grow up your tomatoes. There's another Grenadera plum tomato. These are all my big slicing tomatoes. Mushroom basket right there. Big boy and big beef are in here as well. That's looking like a nice tomato right there. But hopefully we're not getting any blossom end rot. Volunteer sunflowers are looking great. Let's get around these sunflowers here. You see back there, bunch of tomatoes on. Looking good, they're sizing up. Now we gotta hope that the hornworm don't get to them. Looking good, tomatoes looking very good. Some damage again from the hornworm up here. But since tomatoes produce suckers, that's kind of a big deal, because even if they get some of your plants, they're going to keep producing suckers, which will turn into production stems. That's a pretty cool thing about tomatoes. All right, over here, this is the bell pepper raised bed. This is lunchbox pepper right here. They're probably ready to pick some of them. I mean, look at these bell peppers. Looking absolutely beautiful. And again, I will pick some of these larger ones and leave like something like that to continue to grow for when I get back from vacation. I will be opening my stand. So I want to have some to go on there. But with peppers, eggplant, cucumbers, beans, a lot of different produce you want to pick early and often. So a lot of these will be picked, like I don't want to see them getting fully red, like that one right there. I'll pick the larger ones in this one, any ones that are turning. That way it's going to keep producing flowers and the plant's going to keep pushing out more peppers and flowers. Let's see if we can see in here. Yeah, look at those bell peppers. I want to pick some of them, and then the plant can focus on creating more flowers. So the raspberry, like I said, didn't produce any raspberries for me. You got the Japanese beetle right here that I will take care of and squish it. It's looking like I'm getting some type of fungal disease as well, so I'm going to have to put some copper fungicide on there. But really, I'm just trying to care for it, and hopefully next year I will get some raspberries. Celestia forest fire, when this thing starts opening up, I can't wait to show you guys that. That is a beautiful flower coming in here. Hopefully you guys can see that. This is a touch golden beet, and it is starting to bulb up pretty good. These are all determinate tomatoes right here, Celebrity Plus. These guys right here are farther behind. So you can see tomatoes are starting to form. Over here, this is the Celebrity Plus. What is the other one called? I can't think of it. I'll have to look, see if I find the tag. But these four over here will be ready. And I don't think too long, you know, they're looking like nice tomatoes. There's a bunch in there. So really, I'm just supporting it, making sure it doesn't fall or anything breaks off. Took the leaves off the bottom, as you can see. Mountain Fresh is the other determinate tomato, Mountain Fresh. So, like I said, first year growing determinate tomatoes, and I'm really liking what I see so far. Hopefully they taste good, and the ripening process is a positive one. This is a purple zinnia. Let's see what that looks like. That's a beautiful flower. I do love a zinnia. This thing's going to be producing flowers for me well into fall, so I look forward to that. I'm not going to open this up, but this is my dragon tongue bush beans. I've said this before, but if you never had a dragon tongue bush bean, you want to plant them. They're prolific, they taste wonderful, and I can't get enough of them. So I got 2 rows here. I could have done a better job of kind of, maybe using some string to keep them up off the ground a little bit. But like last year, I failed to do that. So maybe when I plant a row back here, there's going to be one more row. Maybe I'll do a better job with that. So once these bush beans are done, I won't plant anything in here until I start putting fall stuff in, lettuce, broccoli, things like that. But back there will be one more wave of bush beans. It's a dahlia right here. You got the bee enjoying the flower. Dahlias are beautiful. Volunteer sunflower right here. Come over here. I just got some flowers here on the border, as you can see. I'll get to the potatoes in a second. Kiki's orange marigold. And this thing is huge. I don't know if you can see that. The bumblebees enjoy the marigold. Over here, this is the strawberry bed. I'm kind of letting it go wild. It's sending out runners, which is exactly what I want. And I don't know if you can see, here's a runner, and it has taken to the soil, which is what I want to see. In a little while, I'll clean it out, you know, get rid of all of these, and then I'll see how many strawberry plants I have. And next year, I'm looking forward to some strawberries. Took the borage out right here, put it back in, another planting, just popping up. Vermillionaire. This is good for the hummingbirds. They really enjoy it. I'm not going to go back here, but that is a carusula parsley and some lemon balm right there. So I will harvest one of those parsleys here soon, and I will make a spice out of it, dehydrate it. Can't wait. All right, just a quick look over here at the sunflowers. I don't even remember what I planted here. These aren't volunteers. These over here is a chocolate cherry. I am looking forward to that. Unfortunately, it's looking like it's going to open up while I'm at the beach, and that is going to be a bummer. It's supposed to be a really beautiful, you know, chocolate cherry looking sunflower. Tomato here, this is a volunteer. It's pretty interesting. I want to get in here and show you guys. You know, you can see how tall it got because it wasn't getting sun. It needed to get above the cedar bed. And now that it did, you know, it's starting to flower. It's probably a cherry tomato, I assume. I'm gonna let it kind of just do its thing. I'm not even gonna really worry about it. This is a fall gold raspberry. I just planted it this year. You can see actually some berries on here. You see damage from the Japanese beetle, which happens every year. But this past spring, I sprayed beneficial nematodes, and I've seen a lot less of Japanese beetles. I've really been able to come over here, get them in soapy water, really control the population. This coming spring, I'll spray some more beneficial nematodes, and I'll keep doing that. And hopefully I'm just slowly getting the population of the Japanese beetle down. Just planted a potato here. It's going to be for a fall harvest. Now all these potatoes here, you know, I'm not sure, maybe some early blight going on, I think, on here. They're looking rough. They are getting to the point where they're going to start dying back. So it's kind of hard for me to see and understand what's going on. But they don't look great, you know. They were all standing up really good, and we got that 95, 99 degree weather, and they all started falling down. So I'm not quite sure what to expect from these potatoes when I harvest them. But I got 1 potato, 2 potatoes, 3 potatoes in that are going to be for the fall. And that will be my storage potatoes that I'll eat, you know, into the fall, into the winter. All right, now we're back here. As you remember, this is where I had the garlic. It is no longer here. That is all down in the basement. I planted some peppers back here to kind of test out how they would do with a little more shade. You can see the sweet banana right here is looking wonderful. Same with that one. Got a red ember there. Another red ember is turning. So really, I should pick that one, okay? I don't want that to turn fully red and be completely ripe. Okay, because I don't want the plant thinking that it ripened a pepper. So I pull them, and that'll encourage it to flower more and keep producing peppers. The Mellow Star shishito pepper, I'm really amazed how much that is producing. I'm gonna harvest a bunch of them as well. Back there we got a long cayenne pepper right there. Here's a Black Beauty zucchini. Put this in here. I see a cucumber beetle in there. These are the carrots that they're going to be ready to come out here soon. Thinking they'll be pretty. Let's see if I can get you one. There you go. It's a nice size. I'd probably give them another week just to get a little bigger. That's a candy carrot. Throw that on the ground for now. And this is what I'm talking about, making sure to plant waves of cucumbers, zucchini, squash, You know, that way you can kind of beat the life cycles of some of these pests. Here's a zucchini here. And this one I'm not going to grow vertically. I'm going to let it grow outside of the bed. You know, that's why I planted it on the corner here, let it grow out. Same with this one. I'm going to put more fall carrots back here. And I'll be placing some lettuces in between the peppers when the time comes. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to wait till it gets a little, you know, closer to fall. That's a beautiful sweet banana pepper right there. Looking good. Over here at the Calabria onions, you can see they are going to be probably the necks are going to be breaking here pretty soon. Some of them are decent size, some are a little small, so hopefully they still grow for a little bit longer. It looks like this one right here, the neck might be breaking. So I'm not sure how the onions are going to do this year. I think we're going to get a good harvest, but they might not all be too big. One thing I want to mention, please buy new onion seeds each year. I tried to use ruby red onion seeds from the previous year. Did not go well at all. Hardly germinated. That's why I only have one bed of onions. Right here is the Sugar Baby bush watermelon. So it's a bush. It doesn't vine out nearly as much as a normal watermelon would. I got to thin this down, but I'm just trying to, you know, I might send it out this way. I'm just trying to find a way to grow some watermelons, and I'm just going to kind of direct it where I want it to go, and I will make sure to be pruning it. But yeah, hopefully we get some watermelons. Early prolific squash right there. That'll be grown up vertically. All right, so back here, you guys know this is one of the worst areas I have in the garden. I just don't keep it clean. I got my compost here. You know, we got weeds growing everywhere. But right here is a German butterball potato that has just flowered. So it's, you know, it's growing the potatoes underneath. Again, it's falling over. I got to look into what I'm doing wrong that they keep falling over like that. Right here is a little angel humdinger. That's a butterfly bush. Has some disease. I'm not sure what that is. I got to look into that. But it's still, you know, doing well. I'll show you what's over here. My peach. I got dill, lavender over here. But right here, this is a mini love watermelon. So they only get, I believe they only get about 7 to 8 pounds. That's what I think is the size of this watermelon. I'm not 100% sure, but like I said, I'm just trying to find ways that I can grow some type of watermelon and, you know, harvest them, because my kids love watermelon. I love watermelon, you know, but I don't want to take up huge space, you know, if I let watermelon just sprawl everywhere, you know, because I do have limited space. So I'm trying to make a wise decision, and that's why I'm growing this up this trellis right here. I'll grow it up, and then I'll bring it back down the other side. Obviously, when the watermelons grow, even though they're going to be smaller, I'm still going to support them with some type of bag. Right here, you do see that I have watermelon growing. So it's looking pretty good. Cucumber beetle's kind of around, but I'll just keep, you know, thinning down any of these suckers that are coming out. You know, I'd keep it down to about 3 or 4 going all around. And hopefully, you know, at the end of the year, I get to harvest some watermelon. All right, let's finish up this garden tour here. Like I said, I was trying to make it quick. I don't want to have a long 50-minute video. I'm kind of going through everything rather quickly, but hopefully it is enjoyable. Right here is another wave of potatoes that I just planted. That was yesterday that I planted them. Also going to have a video coming out about, you know, planting potatoes from seed to harvest. This will be a fall harvest, so that is why I'm planting them now, and I'll plant one more at the end of July. So I'll have 3 fabric pots of potatoes for my fall harvest. Right here is a fern leaf dill. You can see it is flowering. Funny thing is, I was hoping that I'd get some hornworms over here, but I'm going to let it do its thing. I believe the swallowtail butterfly really enjoys this, so I'm going to let it go, and maybe we'll get some of them in the garden. Right here is the lavender, La Diva Big Night. Smells wonderful, starting to flower. Then back here we have some oregano. Over here at the peach tree, it's looking pretty good. You know, the curl leaf disease looks like it's kind of gone away. Like maybe the peach tree fought it off. Right there we got Japanese beetles. I'm gonna put that down and take care of that. Sorry. Here's the peaches. I'm not sure if maybe I didn't thin enough, you know, because they're not very big, but it looks like they're starting to turn color. So there might be some smaller peaches. Maybe I should have thinned it down even more. That's my fault. I'm just looking forward to peaches, but really in the first couple years, you don't want to be worrying about how many peaches you get. So we'll see what happens with that. Russet potato. This is going to be one of the next ones I harvest. It is dying back. I don't think this is early blight. I think it's just, you know, dying back. I'm not sure. Maybe we can look in here and see. There you go. Little potatoes. So they definitely have some time till they get larger. You want to put straw down or mulch or something because you don't want your potatoes getting hit by the sun. They will turn green, and then you don't want to eat the green potatoes. So if I look here, I thought I saw one. Yeah, you see right there, there's a potato. So I want to make sure I keep that covered up. One thing I want to show you over here, excuse the mess. It is absolutely horrible back here. You gotta take all this brush, get rid of it, take it to a landfill or a compost site. Got to get rid of all this stuff. It looks terrible, but that's what it's not what I'm trying to show you. What I want to show you is I threw some pumpkins in here from last year, you know, old pumpkins that I want to get rid of. And I got one that has sprouted. So I honestly was weed whacking back here and I didn't even notice it. So that's why it's all chopped up. There's still a lot of growth and I'm going to let it go, do its thing. It's probably going to sprawl all over here. But that would be such a treat for me to get some pumpkins that, you know, me and my kids can, you know, decorate or make a pumpkin pie with. And especially since I didn't plant it, you know, I just kind of noticed it over here. I'm going to let it go and do its thing. It's looked like it's growing in this big mound of old dirt. So it's pretty cool to see that it's doing that by itself. I'm not even going to do anything to it. I'm just going to let it go and kind of see what happens. And I'll show you guys what I end up with when it comes to close to fall. So that is where I'm going to wrap up this video. Just a semi-quick garden tour. I'm not sure what it's going to end up, how long it's going to end up being, but I tried to make it somewhat quick, you know, get some key information in there, but show you the whole garden without it being a super long video. I'll see what it looks like after I edit it, but hopefully it is not that long. As you can see, you know, everything's growing pretty well. We got the cucumber beetle, the squash bug, Japanese beetle, the hornworm showed up, so we got pests in the garden. We might have some disease with the raspberry, early blight with the potatoes. We're just keep pushing forward. I do want to say that I have not been spraying anything, you know, for the last month and a half. I'm just trying to pick off the pests, stay on top of it, and be diligent in, you know, my observations of the garden. If it comes down to it, I will spray an organic spray. I don't necessarily have a problem doing that, but I have a ton of lightning bugs that are just living in this garden. And every night I just see so many, and I don't want to, you know, affect them and their population. So I'm trying not to spray. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully your garden is doing well. I hope you are beating the pest, you've beaten the disease, and I hope that you are getting huge harvest. Soon enough, I'm going to be having a ton of tomatoes. It's going to be an enjoyable time. My stand's going to be open on July 20th, and I'll be running into the fall. So I can't wait for that. I hope a lot of you guys can get some fresh homegrown veggies for a good price. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. And have a great day and happy growing.